Curse Indra. He did not do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Text 10. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Text 11. Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence and my pride in my material opulences. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he entered this assembly, and thus I have insulted him. Text 12. Although I am king of the demigods, who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such a riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagdish kamaye. O my Lord, I do not aspire for material opulence or wealth, nor do I want a great number of followers to accept me as their leader. Nor do I want a very beautiful wife to please me. Mam janmani janmanishware bhavtad bhakti hetu kisvai. I do not even want liberation. All I want life after life is to be a faithful servant of your Lordship. According to the law of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded. And this is true both individually and collectively. The demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, the king of the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. We are now actually seeing this in America. The entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, both individually and collectively, they try to enjoy so-called material comforts and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such a society are less than fourth class. They are the unwanted population known as Varna Shankara. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita, an increase of Varna Shankara population creates a hellish society. This is the society in which Americans now find themselves. Fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America and many. Text 13. If a person says, one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or Brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principles. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this regard that when a president or a king is sitting on his throne, he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within his assembly, but he must show respect to superiors like spiritual masters, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. There are many examples how he should act. When Lord Krishna was sitting on his throne and Narada fortunately entered his assembly, even Lord Krishna immediately stood up with his officers and ministers to offer respectful obeisance to Narada. Narada knew that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna knew that Narada was his devotee. But although Krishna is the Supreme Lord and Narada is the Lord's devotee, the Lord observed the religious etiquette. Since Narada was a brahmachari, a brahmana, and an exalted devotee, even Krishna, while acting as a king, offered him respectful obeisances unto Narada. Such is the conduct visible in the Vedic civilization, a civilization in which the people do not know how the representative of Narada and Krishna should be respected, how society should be formed, and how one should advance in Krishna consciousness. A society concerned only with manufacturing new cars, skyscrapers every year, and thus breaking them to pieces and making new ones may be technologically advanced, but it is not a human civilization. A human civilization is advanced when its people follow the Chatur Varna system. the system of four orders of life. There must be ideal first class men to act as advisors, second class men to act as administrators, third class men to produce food and protect cows, and fourth class men who obey the three higher class of society. One who does not follow the standard system of society should be considered a fifth class man. A society without Vedic laws or regulations will not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in this verse, such a society does not know the aim of life and the highest principles of religion. Text 14. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction are in effect boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell and their followers go with them. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, we, the conditioned souls, have fallen in the ocean of nascence, but the human body fortunately provides us a good opportunity to cross the ocean because the human body is like a very good boat. When directed by a spiritual master acting as a captain, the boat can very easily cross the ocean. Furthermore, the boat is helped across by favorable winds, which are the instruction of the Vedic knowledge. If one does not take advantage of all these facilities to cross the ocean of nascence, he is certainly committing suicide. One who boards a boat made of stone is doomed to be elevated to the stage of perfection. Humanity must first give up false leaders who present boats of stone. All of human society is in such a dangerous position that to be rescued it must abide by the standard instruction of the Vedas. The cream of these instructions appear in the form of Bhagavad Gita. One should not take shelter of any other instruction, for Bhagavad Gita gives direct instruction on how to fulfill the aim of human life. Lord Shri Krishna therefore says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Give up all other process of religion and simply surrender unto me. Even if one does accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his instructions are so exalted and beneficial for humanity that if one follows his instruction, one will be saved. Otherwise, one will be cheated by unauthorized meditation and gymnastics methods of yoga. Thus, one will board a boat of stone which will sink and drown all its passengers. Unfortunately, although the American peoples are extremely eager to get out of the material chaos, they are sometimes found to patronize the makers of stone boats. They will not help them. They must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of Krishna consciousness movement. Then they will be easily saved. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, if society is guided by political diplomacy with one nation maneuvering against another, it will certainly sink like a stone boat. Political maneuvering and diplomacy will not save human society. People must take to Krishna consciousness to understand the aim of life, to understand God, and to fulfill the human mission. Text 15. King Indra said, therefore, with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, because he is in the mode of goodness. He is fully aware of the all knowledge and is the best of the Brahmanas. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisance unto him to try to satisfy him. But coming to senses, King Indra realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master Brihaspati. Therefore, he decided that henceforward he would be Nishitha, non-duplicitous. He decided to touch his head to the feet of the spiritual master. From this example, we should learn this principle enunciated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. By the mercy of spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. A disciple should never be hypocrite or to be unfaithful to spiritual master. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the spiritual master is also called Acharya. Acharyam Mam Vijnanya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that one should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. One should not disrespect the Acharya at any time. One should never think the Acharya an ordinary person. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, but one should be very careful in one's dealing with the Acharya. The Acharya is a perfect Brahmana and has unlimited intelligence in guiding the activities of his disciple. Therefore, Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master with his service, and with service one should approach him for further spiritual advancement. Text 16. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home, for Brihaspati was spiritual, more powerful than King Indra. Text 17. Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of other demigods, he could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune. Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. Text 18. Hearing of the pitiable condition of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of their guru Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods. Text 19. The demigods' heads, thighs, and arms, and all other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods, headed by Indra, saw no other course than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instruction. Text 20. When the most powerful Lord Brahma saw demigods coming toward him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of the demons, he pacified them by great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. 21. Lord Brahma said, O best of the demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from your material opulence, you failed to receive Brihaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of the supreme Brahma and fully in control of his senses, he is the best of the Brahmanas. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted impudently toward him. Purport. Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualification of Brihaspati, who was the spiritual master of the demigods. Because of his awareness of the supreme Brahma, Brihaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind, and therefore he was a most qualified Brahmana. Lord Brahma chastised demigods for not properly respecting this Brahmana, who was their guru. Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon the demigod that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. When Brihaspati entered the assembly of demigods, and King Indra took him for granted, since he came every day, they thought they did not need to show him special respect. It is said, familiarity breeds contempt. Being very much displeased, Brihaspati immediately left Indra's palace. Thus all the demigods headed by Indra became offended at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, and Lord Brahma, being aware of this, condemned their neglect. In a song we sing every day, Narottam Das Thakur says, Chakshudan Diliyai Janma Janme Prabhu Sai. The Guru gives spiritual insight to the disciple, and therefore the Guru should be considered his master life after life. Under no circumstances should the Guru be disrespected. But the demigods, being puffed up by the material possessions, were disrespectful to their Guru. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam advises the Acharya should always be offered respectful obeisances. One should never envy the Acharya, considering him an ordinary human being. 22. Because of your misbehavior toward Brihaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? But the Devas are celebrated for fighting with the Asuras perpetually. In such fights, the Asuras were always defeated. But this time, the demigods were defeated. Why? The reason as stated here was that they had offended their spiritual master. Their impudent disrespect of the spiritual master was the cause of their defeat by the demons. As stated in the Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity and the result of his pious activities, and in this way, one is degraded. 23. O Indra, your enemies, the demons, were extremely weak because of their disrespect towards Shukracharya. But since they have now worshipped Shukracharya with great devotion, they have again become powerful. By their devotion to Shukracharya, they have increased their strength so much that now they are even able to easily seize my abode from me. Perfect. Lord Brahma wanted to point out to the demigod that by the strength of the Guru one can become most powerful within this world. And by displeasure of the Guru one can lose everything. This is confirmed by the song of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. By the mercy of spiritual master one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of spiritual master one cannot make any advancement. Although the demons are insignificant in comparison to Lord Brahma, because of the strength of their Guru, they were so powerful that they could even seize Brahmaloka from Lord Brahma. We therefore pray to spiritual master, Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangitim Girim, Yat Kripa Tabham Bande Shri Guru Deen Tarinam. By the mercy of Guru, even a dumb man can become a greatest orator, and even a lame man can cross mountains, as advised by Lord Brahma. One should remember this Shastric injunction if one desires success in his life. 24. Because of their firm determination to follow the instructions of Shukracharya, his disciples, the demons, are now unconcerned about the demigods. In fact, kings or others who have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmanas, cows, and Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who always worship these three are always strong in their position. Purport. From the instructions of Lord Brahma, it is understood that everyone should very faithfully worship the Brahmanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the cows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. He is always very kind to cows and Brahmanas. Therefore, one who worships Govinda must satisfy him by worshipping the Brahmanas and the cows. If a government worships Brahmanas and the cows and Krishna, Govinda, it is never defeated anywhere. Otherwise, it must always be defeated and condemned everywhere. At the present moment, all over the world, government have no respect for Brahmanas, cows, and Govinda, and consequently, there are chaotic conditions all over the world. In summary, although the demigods were very powerful in material opulences, the demons defeated them in a battle because the demigods had behaved disrespectfully toward a Brahmana Brahaspati, who was their spiritual master. Text 25. O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishwarupa, the son of Twasta, and accept him as your Guru. He is pure and very powerful Brahmana, undergoing austerities and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to the side of the demons. Lord Brahma advised the demigod to accept the son of Twasta as their spiritual master, although he was always inclined toward the benefit of asuras. Text 26. Sri Shukha Uvacha. Sri Dev Goswami continued, thus advised by the Lord Brahma and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishwarupa, the son of Twasta. My dear king, they embraced him and spoke him as follows. 27. The demigod said, Beloved Vishwarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashrama as your guest. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents. Text 28. O Brahmana, the highest duty of a son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parent. And what to speak of a son who is a brahmachari. 20 and 30. The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is a personification of all the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother, King Indra, a mother, the planet Earth, and a sister, Mercy. A guest personifies religious principle. An invited guest personifies the demigod Agni. And all living entities personify Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. According to the moral instruction of Chanakya Pandit, Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, one should observe all living entities to be on the same level as oneself. This means that no one should be neglected as inferior because Paramatma is seated in everyone's body. Everyone should be respected as a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse describes the different ways in which one should respect a guru, a father, a brother, a sister, a guest, and so on. Text 31. Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies, and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. 32. Since you are completely aware of the Supreme Brahm, you are a perfect Brahmana, and therefore you are the spiritual master of all orders of life. We accept you as our spiritual master and director, so that by the power of your austerity, we may easily defeat the enemies who have conquered us. 20. Purport. One must approach a particular type of guru to execute a particular type of duty. Therefore, although Vishwarupa was inferior to the demigod accepted him as their guru to conquer the demons. 33. The demigods continued, do not fear criticisms of being younger than us. Such etiquette does not apply in regard to Vedic mantras, except in relationship to Vedic mantras. Seniority is determined by age, but one may offer respectful obeisance even to a younger person who is advanced in chanting Vedic mantras. Therefore, although you are junior in relationship to us, you may become our priest without hesitation. But it is said, one may be senior without being advanced in age. Even if one is not old, one gains seniority if he is senior to knowledge, in knowledge. Vishwarupa was junior to relationship to demigods because he was their nephew. But the demigod wanted to accept him as their priest, and therefore he would have to accept obeisances from them. The demigods explained that this should not be a cause for hesitation. He could become their priest because he was advanced in Vedic knowledge. Similarly, Chanakya Pandit advises one may accept education from a member of a lower social order. The Brahmanas, the members of the most elevated Varnas, are teachers. But a person in a lower family, such as family of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even Shudras, may be accepted as a teacher if he has the knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of this when he expressed his opinion before Ramanand Rai. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kena Hai Naya Yehi Krishna Tattvaveta Sehi Guru Haya. It does not matter whether one is Brahmana, Shudra, Grihastha or Sannyasi. These are all material designations. A spiritually advanced person has nothing to do with such designations. Therefore, if one is advanced in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his position in the human society, he may become a spiritual master. 38. Shukdev Goswami continued. When all the demigods requested the great Vishwarupa to be their priest, Vishwarupa, who was advanced in austerities, was very pleased. He replied to them as follows. Shri Vishwarupa said, O demigods, although the acceptance of priesthood is decried as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahminical power, how can someone like me refuse to accept your personal request? You are all exalted commanders of the entire universe. I am your disciple and must take many lessons from you. Therefore, I cannot refuse you. I must agree for my own benefit. Purport. The profession of a qualified Brahmana are Pathan, Yagya, Dan, Pratigraha. The words Yagya and Yagyan means that a Brahmana becomes the priest of the populace for the sake of their elevation. One who accepts the most post of spiritual master neutralizes the sinful reaction of the Yagyamana, the one on whose behalf the performs Yagya. Thus, the result of the pious act previously performed by the priest or spiritual master are diminished. Therefore, priesthood is not accepted by learned Brahmanas. Nevertheless, the great learned Brahmana Vishwarupa became the priest of the demigods because of his profound respect for them. 36. O exalted governors of the various planets, the true Brahmana, who has no material possessions, maintains himself by the position of accepting Silon Chana. In other words, he picks up grain left in the field and on the ground in the wholesale marketplace. By this means, householders Brahmanas who actually abide by the principle of austerity and penance maintain themselves and their families and perform all necessary pious activities. A Brahmana who desires to achieve happiness by gaining wealth through professional priesthood must certainly have a very low mind. How shall I accept such a priesthood? Purport. A first class Brahmana does not accept any reward from his disciples or Yajmanam. Practicing austerity and penances, he instead goes to the agriculture field and collects food grain left by the agriculturists to be collected by Brahmanas. Similarly, such Brahmanas go to the marketplace where grains are being purchased and sold in wholesale, and there they collect gains left by the merchants. In this way, such exalted Brahmanas maintain their bodies and families. Such priests never demand anything from their disciples to live in opulence, imitating Kshatriyas or Vaishyas. In other words, a pure Brahmana voluntarily accepts life of poverty and lives in complete dependence on the mercy of Lord. Not very many years ago, a Brahmana in Krishnanagara near Navdeep was offered some help from the local Zamindar, Vraj Krishna Chandra. The Brahmana refused to accept the help. He said that since he was very happy in his household life, taking rice given by the disciples and cooking vegetables of tamarind leaves, there was no question of taking help from Zamindar. The conclusion is that although a Brahmana may receive much opulence from his disciples, he should not utilize the reward of his priesthood for his personal benefit. He must use them for the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 37. All of you are my superiors. Therefore, although accepting priesthood is sometimes reproachable, I cannot refuse even a small request from you. I agree to be your priest. I shall fulfill your request by dedicating my life and possessions. Text 38. Sri Shukdev Goswami continued. O king, after making his promise to the demigods, the exalted Vishwarupa, surrounded by the demigods, performed the necessary priestly activities with great enthusiasm and attention. Purport. The word samadhina is very important. Samadhi means complete absorption with an undeviated mind. Vishwarupa, who was the most learned Brahmana, not only accepted the request of the demigods, but took their request seriously and performed the activity of priesthood with an undeviated mind. In other words, he accepted the priesthood for the material gain but to profit the demigods. Such is the duty of a priest. The word pura means family and hita means benefit. Thus, the word purohit means that the priest is the well-wisher of the family. Although meaning of the word pura is first, a priest's first duty is to see that the disciple benefit spiritually and materially by all means. Thus he is satisfied. A priest should never be interested in performing Vedic rituals for his personal benefit. Text 39. The opulence of the demigods, who are generally known as the enemies of the demigods, the opulence of the demons, who are generally known as the enemies of the demigods, was protected by the talents of and tactics of Sukracharya. But Vishwarupa, who was most powerful, composed a protective prayer known as Narayan Kavach. By this intelligent mantra, he took away the opulence of the demons and gave it to Mahendra, the king of heaven. Purport. The distinction between the demigods and the demons is that the demigods are all devotees of Lord Vishnu, whereas the demons are devotees of demigods like Lord Shiva, Goddess Kali, Goddess Durga. Sometimes the demons are also devotees of Lord Brahma. For example, Hiranyakashipu was a devotee of Lord Brahma. Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva. Mahishasur was a devotee of Goddess Durga. The demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu. The demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu, whereas the demons are always against the Vishnu Bhaktas or the Vaishnavas. To oppose the Vaishnavas, the demons become devotees of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Kali, Durga and so on. In the days of yore, many long years ago, there was animosity between the Devas and the Asuras, and the same spirit still continues. For the devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Durga, Goddess Durga, are always envious of Vaishnavas, who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. This strain between the devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu has always existed. In the higher planetary system, fights between the demons and the demigods continue for a long, long time. Herein, we see that Vishrupa made for the demigod a protecting covering saturated with a Vishnu mantra. Sometimes the Vishnu mantra is called Vishnu Jwara and the Shiva mantra is called Shiva Jwara. We find in the Shastra that sometimes the Shiva Jwara and Vishnu Jwara are employed in the fight between the demons and the demigods. The word Shura Dvisham, which in this verse means of the enemies of the demigod, also refer to the atheist. Srimad Bhagavatam elsewhere says that Lord Buddha appeared for the purpose of bewildering the demons or atheists. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, always awards his benediction to devotees. The Lord himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, O son of Kunti, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. Text 40. Vishrupa, who was most liberal, spoke to the king Indra. The secret hymn that protected Indra and conquered the military power of the demons. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 6th canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Chapter 8, text 1 and 2. King Parikshit inquired from Shukdev Goswami, my lord, kindly explain the Vishnu mantra armor that protected King Indra and enabled him to conquer his enemies, along with their carriers, and enjoy the opulence of 3 worlds. Please explain to me that Narayan armor by which King Indra achieved success in battle, conquering the enemies who were endeavoring to kill him. 3. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, King Indra, the leader of the demigods, inquired about the armor known as Narayan Kavach from Vishrupa, who was engaged by the demigod as their priest. Please hear Vishrupa's reply with great attention. Text 4 and 5. Vishrupa 4, 5 and 6. Vishrupa said, if some form of fear arrives, one should first wash his hands and legs clean and then perform achman by chanting this mantra. Om apavitro pavitro va sarvavasto vidobhiya yasmare kundrikaksham sabharye antarebhya suchi. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Then one should touch kusha grass and sit gravely and silently facing north. When completely purified, one should touch the mantra composed of 8 syllables to the 8 parts of his body and touch the mantra composed by 12 syllables to his hands. Thus, in the following manner, he should bind himself with the Narayan coat of armor. First, while chanting the mantra composed of 8 syllables, Om Namo Narayana, beginning with the pranava, the syllable Om, one should touch his hand to the right to 8 parts of his body, starting with 2 feet and progressing systematically to the knees, thighs, abdomen, heart, chest, mouth and head. One should chant the mantra in reverse, beginning from the last syllable, Ya, which while touching the parts of the body in the reverse order. These 2 processes are known as Utpatti Nyasa and Samhara Nyasa respectively. Text 7. One should chant the mantra composed of 12 syllables, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, preceding each syllable by the Omkara. When one should place the syllable of the mantra on the tips of his fingers, beginning with the index finger of the right hand and concluding with the index finger of the left. The 4 remaining syllables should be placed on the joints of the thumbs. Text 8 to 10. One must then chant the mantra of 6 syllables, Om Vishnave Namaha. One should place the syllable Om on his heart, the syllable V on the top of his head, the syllable Sha between his eyebrows, the syllable Na on his tuft of his hair, Shikha, and the syllable V between his ears. The chanter of the mantra should then place the syllable Na on all the joints of his body and meditate on the syllable Ma as being a weapon. He should thus become the perfect personification of the mantra. Therefore, adding Visarga to the final syllable Ma, he should chant the mantra Maha Astraya Fat in all directions, beginning from the east. In this way, all directions will be bound by the protective armor of the mantra. Text 11. After finishing this chanting, one should think himself qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in 6 opulence and is worthy to be meditated upon. Then one should chant the following protective prayer to Lord Narayana, Narayan Kavach. Next 12. The Supreme Lord, who sits on the back of bird Garuda, touching him with his lotus feet, holds 8 weapons: the conch shell, disc, shield, sword, club, arrow, bow, and ropes. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead protect me at all times with his 8 arms. He is all powerful because he fully possesses 8 mystic powers. Purport: thinking oneself one with the Supreme is called through agraho pasana. One does not become God, but he thinks himself to be as qualitatively one with the Supreme. Understanding that as a spirit soul is equal in quality to the Supreme Soul, the way the water of a river is of the same nature as the water of the sea. One should meditate upon the Supreme Lord as described in this verse and seek His protection. The living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme. Consequently, their duty is to always seek the mercy of the Lord in order to be protected by Him in all circumstances. Text 13. May the Lord, who assumes the body of a great fish, protect me in the water from the fierce animal that are associates of the demigod Varuna. By expending his illusory energy, the Lord assumes the form of dwarf Vamana. May Vamana protect me on the land, since the gigantic form of the Lord Vishwarupa conquers the 3 worlds. May he protect me in the sky. Purport: this mantra seeks the protection of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the water, land, and the sky, in his incarnation as fish, Vamanadeva, and Vishwarupa. Text 14. May Lord Nrsingadeva, who appeared as the enemy of Hiranyakashipu, protect me in all directions. His loud laughing vibrated in all directions and caused the pregnant wives of the Asuras to have miscarriages. May that Lord be kind enough to protect me in difficult places like the forest and battlefront. Text 15. The Supreme Indestructible Lord is ascertained through the performance of ritualistic sacrifices and is therefore known as Yageshwara. In his incarnation as Lord Bor, he raised the platform earth from the water in the bottom of the universe and kept it on his pointed tusks. May that Lord protect me from rogues on the streets. May Parashurama protect me from the tops of mountains. And may the elder brother of Bharata, Lord Ramchandra, along with his brother Lakshmana, protect me in foreign countries. But there are 3 Ramas. One Rama is Parshuram, Jamadagnya. Another Rama is Lord Ramchandra, and third Rama is Lord Balarama. In this verse, the word indicates Parshurama. The brother of Bharat Maharaj and Lakshmana is Lord Ramchandra. Text 16. May Lord Narayan protect me from the unnecessarily following false religious systems and falling from my duties due to madness. May the Lord in his appearance in Nara protect me from unnecessary pride. May Lord Dattatreya, the master of all mystic power, protect me from falling while performing Bhakti Yoga. And may Lord Kapila, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage of fruitive activities. Text 17. May Sanat Kumar protect me from the lust desires as I begin some auspicious activity. May Lord Hayagriva protect me from being an offender by neglecting to offer respectful obeisance to the Supreme Lord. May Devarashi Narad protect me from committing offense in worshipping the deity. And may Lord Kurma, the tortoise, protect me from the falling to the unlimited hellish planets. Text 18. May the Supreme Personality of God in his incarnation as Dhanvantari relieve me from undesirable eatables and protect me from physical illness. May Lord Rishabdeva, who conquered his inner and outer senses, protect me from fear produced by the duality of heat and cold. May Yagya protect me from defamation and harm from the pestilence. And may Lord Balarama as Shesh protect me from envious serpents. Text 19. May the personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Vyas Deva protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of knowledge. May Lord Buddha Deva protect me from activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. May Kalki Deva the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the dirt of age of Kali. Purpose. This verse mentions various incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead who appear in various purposes. Srila Vyasdev Mahamuni compiled the Vedic literature for the benefit of all human society. If one wants to be protected from the reactions of ignorance, even in this age of Kali, one may consult the books left by Srila Vyasdeva, namely four Vedas, 108 Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, Mahabharat, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapuran, and the other 17 Puranas. Only by the mercy of Srila Vyasdev do we have so many volumes of transcendental knowledge to save us from the clutches of ignorance. As described by Srila Jayadev Goswami in his Dashavatar Strota, Buddha appeared apparently decried the Vedic knowledge. The mission of the Buddha was to save people from the abominable activities of killing, animal killing, and to save the poor animals from being unnecessarily killed. When Pashandis were cheating by killing animals on the plea of sacrificing the Vedic yajna, the Lord said, if the Vedic injunctions allow animal killing, I do not accept the Vedic principle. Thus, he actually saved people who acted according to Vedic principles. One should therefore surrender to Lord Buddha so that he can help one avoid misusing the injunctions of the Vedas. The Kalki Avatara is the fierce incarnation who vanquishes the class of the atheist. Born in the age of Kali, now in the beginning of Kali Yuga, many religious principles are in effect. And as Kali Yuga advances, many pseudo-religious principles will certainly be introduced, and people will forget the real religious principles enunciated by Lord Krishna before the beginning of Kali Yuga, namely principles of surrender into the lotus feet of Lord. Unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, foolish people do not surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. Even most people who claim to belong to the Vedic system of religion are actually opposed to Vedic principles. Every day they manufacture a new type of dharma on the plea that whatever one manufactures is also a path of liberation. Atheistic men generally say, Yada mat tata pat. According to this view, there are hundreds and thousands of different opinions in human society, and each opinion is a valid religious principle. This philosophy of rascals has killed the religious principles mentioned in the Vedas, and such philosophies will become increasingly influential as Kali Yuga progresses. In the last stage of Kali Yuga, Kalki Dev, the fierce incarnation of Keshava, will descend to kill all the atheistic people who will save only the devotees of the Lord. Text 20. May Lord Keshava protect me with his club in his first portion of the day, and may Lord Govinda, who is always engaged in playing his flute, protect me in the second portion of the day. May Lord Narayana, who is equipped with all the potencies, protect me in the third part of the day, and may Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc to kill his enemies, protect me in the fourth part of the day. But according to Vedic astronomical calculations, day and night are each divided into 30 ghatikas, 24 minutes, instead of 12 hours. Generally, each day and each night is divided into 6 parts consisting of 5 ghatikas. In each of these 6 portions of the day and night, and the Lord may be addressed for protection according to the different names. Lord Keshava, the proprietor of the holy place of Mathura, is the Lord for the first portion of the day, and Govinda, the Lord of Vrindavana, is the master of second portion of the day. Text 21. May Lord Madhusudan
रख दो, ये रख दो बिस्तर उठाना। नहीं, ये भी नहीं था, ये डन।
Yes, yes.
Suggested that whatever happened in the last 2 years, we should add that in the console. So, even if we don't have it as a separate chapter at the end. Yes, also can you also be nursing business coming from nursing supervision. So we would feel there's some requirements for the service of the Lord. So we looking at sponsoring the jewelry manage. It's around 5 lakh rupees. So if you suggest manage, then we would like to otherwise permission. It's okay now. Yes, ma'am. But if you sponsoring the jewelry manage, so you have to agree with the start of the focus 5 lakhs. It's okay now? Yes, okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And Shikalani's brother is doing the silver glasses, which are for 70 lakhs. So,
होगा जल्दी।
No. Sounds good. Sounds good. Down the phone.